How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is live stream Friday, live stream Black Friday. I don't have anything to sell you guys, so I don't have anything going on special right now. But either way, tonight we have some breaking news. Um, uh, Apparently, ex police officer Derek Chauvin has been stabbed in prison. All right, we're going to be talking about that a little bit. We also have some breaking news coming out of, well, not really breaking. It's been kind of going on the last couple of days, but between Israel and Hamas, they finally have agreed to a temporary ceasefire, or what's seeming to be a temporary ceasefire. Some hostages have been released already. So all good things over there. We also have a bit of an uprising going on in the Irish sector, right? A fiery but mostly peaceful uprising going on over with the Irish, and then we also got a national populist uprising coming on all over the world right now. Right, our side is winning. People don't get discouraged. I mean, don't get complacent either. But at the same time, don't get discouraged. All right, understand that we are winning. Right, we are on the side of we are on the right side of history, and clearly, what's going on in the culture around the world today is clearly the right side is finally starting to win something. But anyway, how you guys doing? I appreciate you guys stopping by, even if you guys aren't here live. Those of you that are checking this out afterward, I appreciate you guys. So yeah, how was all you guys' Thanksgiving, man? I hope you guys all had a really good time. Hope you guys spent some time with your families. Hope you guys didn't get into too much political battles over the dinner table. But either way, mine was nice. I had spent some time here with it's the immediate family. The wife, kids, just nice little wholesome family dinner. My wife cooked a turkey. She made all the fixings, everything. It was real nice. My sister came out, got some food and stuff. It's a good times. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this show started. Go ahead and pack you guys' bowls. Get ready to go ahead and light one up, and let's get into this shit. All right, real quick, let's go ahead and make sure that we are live on Rumble. Go ahead and refresh this real quick. And yes, we are live on Rumble. All right, good deal. So let's go ahead and get into the first order of news here. Derek Chauvin gets stabbed in prison. Right. So let's go ahead and just read some of the X post. X Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Loomis says, just in. Derek Chauvin has been stabbed in prison. I hope he makes it. He's an innocent man who was turned into a sacrificial lamb to appease the BLM mob. All right, that is absolutely true. I mean, with all the new information that we have coming out, with the new autopsy reports from George Floyd, it is becoming very much apparent that there was no outside force that was the cause of George Floyd's death. He died of natural causes. He did not die from some sort of asphyxiation. He died from essentially a fucking drug overdose, right? He's just, over there chewing on a goddamn speedball, over there trying to pass off counterfeit bills. And basically, I mean, do you all remember the Summer of Love? You all remember how that thing went, right? So basically, yeah, from that, Derek Chauvin has been found guilty, and now he's been sentenced to prison, and now he's in prison, a political prisoner, and he has now been stabbed. Right? It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's see. Liberty Lockdowns. Clint Russell says, "I've seen multiple documentaries since the riots of 2020. I'm convinced that he died of a drug overdose. I'm also convinced that Derek Chauvin did his job by the book. Was the book correct? In my opinion, no. But he is not a murderer." Right? So that last part, more to it, we'll read in a second. But that last part right there is fully my sentiment, right? So when it comes to the whole speedball incident, obviously, in my opinion, consenting adults, you should be able to do what you want. It's supposed to be a free country. You are free to make your own choices and live with either the consequences or the benefits, right? If you make bad choices, you're going to have to, deal with the consequences. Either, you're going to have a rough life. You're going to have, I mean, take it from me. I did the whole drug thing. I've done speedballs myself, right? So, I mean, take it from me. Living life sober is a much easier route to go down, even if it's California sober, obviously. But in my opinion, though, I don't believe that any sort of substances should be banned, right? I mean, it's again, you are free to make the choices that you see fit, and you're free to live with the consequences or rewards of those. That's the basic, fundamentals of freedom, in my opinion, right? So let's see what else you got to say. He has now been stabbed in prison after his own police chief lied about the training manual, and the judge railroaded his defense by withholding that info from the jury. I rarely defend cops because they are often guilty of injustice towards us. In this case, the cops who arrested Mr. Floyd were the victims of injustice. I believe he deserves another trial. Right. So, another thing that I have experience with too. I have been through the system. I've done time in prison. I've been arrested by cops. I've been thrown on the floor by cops. Uh, yeah, generally, you won't see me on the side of cops either. I remember when the whole George Floyd video first came out. Yeah, I was right there cheering with them. Fuck those cops. They're fucking pieces of shit. But then, of course, as time went on, like they say, the rumors and everything gets out, the propaganda and all that gets out before the truth has time to put its shoes on, right? So by the time that the truth has already come out, now the whole summer of love has already come and gone, and it's what 3 years going on 4 years later, and they're just barely starting to get all this information out now after he's already been sentenced, and he's been stabbed in prison. And you're going to see right here in a second, these lefties are completely cheering this on. They're all around cheering this on. Yeah, if I get the president stabbed Derek Chauvin, seeing everyone on Twitter thanking him. Right. See, so 1 year ago, I said this. They used George Floyd's death as a pretext to. We'll actually get to this in a second. All right. So when it comes to the whole thing at a stabbing, that doesn't necessarily. So the whole Derek Chauvin being stabbed in prison does not necessarily mean that it is political, at least out here political, right? It could be prison political, but at the same time, prison politics is something different. I mean, if you stab somebody that's an ex-cop, if you stab somebody that's an ex-police officer, of course, it varies state to state, but at least here in the state of Arizona, if you were to take out, a guard, if you were to take out a warden, if you were to take out, the higher brass, if you were to take out an ex-police officer, all of those, if you were to take out a sex offender, all of those are badges of honor. Those earn you something. Those earn you status in prison, right? So the stabbing of Derek Chauvin doesn't necessarily have to be anything, externally political, right? It could just be somebody, was in there. They saw that he's an ex-cop. Get him. That really is the way it is. There's not much of a gray area in there in prison, right? On paperwork, it says that you're a snitch. You're a snitch. All right. On paperwork, it says that you did this with kids. It says that you raped somebody or something like that. Well, that's what you are, right? And that's when it comes to prison too. You know, perception is reality in there, right? If they even imagine that you might be somebody that's telling, they're going to get rid of you, right? Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily mean that it was like, oh, I'm doing it so I could get cheers from the outside, right? Of course, this person is going to get cheers from the outside, but at the same time, I doubt notoriety on the outside is really so much this person's end goal, seeing as this person is more than likely never going to be getting out of this place. Most of the people that do actually stab people in prison, don't are people that are planning on being there for the long haul, right? So just a little bit about the prison mentality as to why this could have gone down. So that being said, the establishment is well aware of the fact that this was going to happen, right? Especially again, I'm not too sure, where they're keeping Derek Chauvin at. I'm not too obviously not too sure about the prison politics out of any other state than Arizona, but or the actual uh, day-to-day operations and stuff like that. I do know that there is different ways that inmates are housed in different states, like say for example California and Arizona, right? So Arizona, as I mentioned earlier, if you were to kill a sex offender, it's a badge of honor. So therefore, all sex offenders and general population inmates are separated, right? Normally, here in Arizona as well. Again, I'm not too sure about everywhere else. Um, Ex police officers, ex law enforcement, ex prison guards, all that type of stuff. Pretty much generally, ex law enforcement of any type, they are also put into protective custody, right? So I'm not too sure, what this whole what the reasoning was. We're gonna read an article here in a second too, but yeah, obviously they knew that this was gonna happen, and they essentially facilitated it, right? Let's go ahead and check out this Jack Posobiec quick. Yep. Yep. So yeah, so the whole uh justice system that we have right now, it's clearly a tool of the left wing. It's clearly been weaponized by the left wing right now, and the whole summer of love thing that was orchestrated, right? So with the whole COVID lockdowns and everything, they knew, they had they had the fear, and they had, basically people under control at the time, right? They knew that it was a powder keg just waiting to go off, and so basically all they needed was something, right? Anything. We'll put out one of these videos of, one of these white cops killing a black person, and sure enough, that's what ended up happening. All right, so we all remember the riots and everything. That was all planned, right? If you compare the damage, the destruction, even the death numbers of the Summer of Love riots from George Floyd, from this show trial that was based off of emotional logic rather than rational logic, and compare that to the January 6th, the worst insurrections known to mankind, right? Clearly a planned and orchestrated coup attempt by Donald Trump himself, right? If you juxtapose those two together, it's no comparison. I mean, it's paints a clear picture of government bias, of weaponization of the justice system, and it clearly shows that this is being orchestrated. It clearly shows that you know it's basically a controlled burn, right? I don't even know if it's a controlled burn. We're at the point in American society where they're starting to loot the treasury, right? Basically, Donald Trump came in and he exposed a lot of the backdoor secrets, the basically the stuff that makes this country run, the dark secrets that actually govern this nation and really the world, right? And basically the jig is up, right? The jig is up, and these people know it. So that way they're trying to create this controlled chaos, so that way they could basically come in and you know uh come in and save everybody. Did you guys ever see that movie Helter Skelter, right? The Charlie Manson freaking Hollywood movie and shit. It's I mean, obviously, it's Hollywood, and it's based off of the whole again, show trial, the whole circus show trial circus thing. um but with at the very end, well, I might even see if I could pull it up at the end of this, toward the end of the stream. But at the very end, um he basically does this whole fucking thing where basically it's like, oh, okay, so Blackie's been on the bottom for so long that what we need is Blackie's going to rise up to the top, right? And he's describing that the up and down the I guess kind of a pendulum of society, right? The swaying back and forth of society, right? And he's basically describing that, oh, white man has been on top for so long that it's basically come the time that the black man's going to be on top. And this was during the whole hippie social justice era and everything, right? So of course it was plausible and everything, and of course the media could spin this into, of course, another racial division type thing. And really the Manson murders are what did kind of end the whole hippie generation, the whole hippie summer of love type thing. It really did kind of kill the whole hippie vibe. But so they did try to frame it as basically he was trying to start a race war, right? He's trying to start this whole helter skelter type thing, and really that's what we have going on right here. That's what we have basically the Democrats doing. I always like to say that I don't think that I think they watch conspiracy theorists, not so much because they would like to or like at least the far out there conspiracy theorists, not so much because um they're worried about them, but more or less just because that's where they go to get ideas, right? So even if that was what Manson was preaching, or whether or not that's what was going on just during the show trial for the media and everything, uh, they can't stop just showing their hand. They can't stop just displaying what they're going to do before they do it, right? And yeah, that was the whole thing with the Summer of Love, right? So let's go ahead and check out article here from the New York Post. See, ex-cop Derek Chauvin is convicted of killing George Floyd, stabbed in prison. All right, so former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who was convicted of murdering George Floyd, was stabbed by another inmate at a federal prison in Arizona on Friday. Oh, interesting. So he is in Arizona. All right. So again, yes. He's the federal prison. All right. So federal prison differently than the state prison. So again, I'm not too sure. Right. The federal prison in Arizona actually is like a mile or a couple miles away from where I'm at right now. Actually, I was at the state prison that was just down the street from the federal prison here in Arizona. So yeah, it's, small world. That's actually where they have fucking what's his name, like Larry Nasser or whatever, the dude that basically raped all the fucking Olympic athletes. That guy, yeah, it's fucking he's over there too, same place, right? But anyway, unsavory place, unsavory characters, yada yada, and course, federal prison is that the politics different from state prison, right? So state prison is more or less just kind of a bunch of drug addicts, people, just people that are randomly violent. It's people that get arrested for breaking the local state laws, right? Federal is oftentimes more people that uh, white collar crimes, uh, fucking money laundering. It's more big crimes. It's stuff that's going to get on the federal Bureau of Investments radar type stuff, right? So why he'd be in federal prison, I guess, too. I mean, especially if what he did was, I guess, I guess maybe because he's a worker. I don't know, but I didn't follow the trial that closely, to be honest with you. I thought the whole thing was kind of ridiculous, right? But let's see. Chauvin was seriously injured in the attack around 12:30 p.m. at Federal Correction Institute, Tucson. The Bureau of Prisons told the outlet without naming the inmate. Prison employees performed life-saving measures before Chauvin was hospitalized, the federal agency said. Chauvin's attacker was also taken to a hospital for further treatment and evaluation. No employees were injured, and the FBI was notified. The Bureau of Prisons said that the facility, which houses around 380 inmates, has been suspended. Right, so it's pretty much until lockdown. That's generally what happens when somebody gets stabbed. So the stabbing comes just 1 week after the U.S. Department new evidence shows he didn't cause Floyd sparked riots across the country and a prolonged debate on race relations in the U.S. Right, so that's the whole thing. Is the whole sparked riots across the country, right? So that I believe it was Clint that was talking about Clint from Liberty Lockdown. He's saying that essentially the whole sentencing of Derek Chauvin, the whole finding him guilty, was basically just to appease the BLM Marxist movement, right? And that's really all that it was. It was basically it caused a funk, right? It caused a rift within society, and of course, like I said, that rift was intentional. It's there we go. But yeah, again, that's some absolute some bullshit, man. It's some show trial garbage, right? So Chauvin is wait, okay. His lawyers also argued that Chauvin was denied a fair trial due to the publicity in the case and concerns about potential violence if he was acquitted. That's exactly fucking true. That is exactly the whole reason that I just said that he got convicted in the first place. They had advocated for keeping his client out of the prison's general population and away from other inmates. Target, obviously. Again, just like I said at the beginning of this, it's not even whether or not they agree with the whole political movement or not. They don't have to be BLM shit. It could be a fucking another white person that stabbed him. And oftentimes, just because the way that it probably was a white guy that stabbed him, because everything in prison is race based, right? If that person were to stab a white person, it's all optics in there, right? So it looks bad. It looks bad on the race that just black people are able to just come up and stab white people just out of nowhere. Same go with Mexicans. Everything's just race based, right? And it's not necessarily because everything's got to be racist. It's all just a type of protection type thing. It's essentially gangs, right? It's a ethnic gang warfare in prison at all times, right? And so basically, your race is it's everything. That's politics in there. That's how politics is run, is based off of your race, right? So the optics of a black person just coming up to a white guy and just stabbing him up and nothing happening is very, very unlikely, right? Generally, if a black person did have an issue with a white person, they would go to the head of the whites, and it would get handled that way, right? Either that, or if it's for money, well, the heads of the whites would have to get a cut in that, or the heads of the whites would just say, oh, well, who's paying? Fuck it, I'll do it. That's the way that it works in there, right? It's all about the optics. You can't have a black inmate stabbing a white inmate and just nothing come of it. That's the type of shit that causes race riots and stuff in prison. That's why generally the general rule when it comes to race relations is you take out your own trash. That's the way that it's put in there, right? So anyway, The ex-Minneapolis cop serving his 22-and-a-half-year prison sentence at FCI Tucson since he was found guilty by a state court April 2021 of killing Floyd. As well as other federal prisons have been plagued by staffing shortages and security lapses. 1 year earlier, an inmate at the Arizona's low security prison camp whipped out a gun and tried to shoot a visitor in the head. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Right. So when it comes to contraband, like things like guns, all you really need is a bullet. Everything else in there can be made. You can make it into a zip gun if you have a projectile and you have a propellant, then they'll figure out the rest, right? So let's see. And I'm sure that they're able to get actual firearms, and that does come through the guards. It's not like it's coming up somebody's prison pouch. To be honest, most of the time it's coming from the guards. Let's see. 1 year earlier, okay. Chauvin stabbing also marks the second high-profile inmate attack in the last few months at a federal prison. This great sports doctor Larry Nassar, who sexually hundreds of gymnasts, was stabbed at least 10 times in July with a makeshift weapon inside his cell in a federal prison in Florida. Right. Okay. So I guess they moved him to Florida. Well, I remember when I was in prison here in Arizona. It was back in 2019, or it really is from 2016 to 2019. But during that time, Larry Nassar was being held here at the Arizona Federal Prison. The attack was Nassar cop by any surveillance cameras, right? And obviously, the inmates have all these surveillance cameras mapped out in there. They don't do anything in front of the cameras, and at the same time, too, nobody's who say anything in there, right? So basically, if the person that stabbed Derek Chauvin hasn't been caught already, then they're not going to catch him. They're not going to figure out who it is because, again, nobody's going to say anything in there. And it's so much a known thing to the point that nobody's going to get questioned. Police, the guards, police, nobody's going to get asked because of the fact that, again, the optics, right? Perception is reality. If you even get called back to speak to a detective or anything like that, you're snitching. If you don't absolutely outright refuse, then that means you're snitching. If you're willing to go back there and speak privately with a detective, you're snitching. Period. Right. So yeah, if they haven't caught the guy already, they're not going to. See, a month earlier, infamous Unabomber Ted Kaczynski committed suicide inside his North Carolina prison cell. Right, and that marked the end of civilization. Fucking Papa Ted gone. Prison director Colette Peters brought in last year to tackle the federal prison system's universal understaffing issues, escapes, rampant sexual abuse, inmate deaths, and other systemic issues such as the death of fucking Jeffrey Epstein. Right, that one was fucking ridiculous. That shit. You want to talk about prison security fucking issues? Shit, that is a prison security fuck right there. Right, that's probably the fucking biggest fucking prison security flop in human history. Right. Oh man, absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. But anyway, I've gone on this one enough. Derek Chauvin, man, it's fucked up shit. Like I said, at the very beginning when the video first came out, I was right there. I was, fuck that kid, fuck cops. I still say fuck cops, but it's to a different extent. It's innocent until proven guilty, but once they're guilty, fuck those cops. I mean, it is what it is. I'm one of those I guess libertarians that's self defense type thing. It's what is the old Lamb of God thing? Whoever appeals to the law against his fellow man is either a fool or a coward. Whoever cannot take care of himself without that law is both. For a wounded man shall say to his assailant, if I live, I will kill you. If I die, you are forgiven. Such is the rule of honor. All right. Oh man. All right, let's go ahead and get on to the next one. So Israel and Hamas to start 4-day truce on Friday. All right, so they did release a couple of hostages today. I don't have any of the videos pulled up or anything because I didn't put that much time into it, and my computer's fucking slow, so I don't like to have that many tabs open at one time. But anyway, let's go ahead and read this article here. And why is everything always all Here, I'll do this way. All right. So Israel and the Hamas terrorist group will start a 4-day truce on Friday morning with a first group of 13 Israeli women and child hostages released later that day. Mediators in Qatar said. All right, so I did get some notes on this one a little bit earlier in the show, and I guess the 13 Israeli uh, hostages, their release was negotiated with Hamas, whereas the 12 Thai workers, their release was negotiated with Iran. Right. So, yeah, it's just a little side note there. Let's see. World powers gave the news a cautious welcome, but fighting raged on as the hours counted down to the start of the first break in a brutal, near 7-week-old war. Both sides, yeah, it's beyond 7 weeks. Let's be honest. That's why I don't really have much hope that this is going to be anything more than a temporary ceasefire, right? 7-week-old war. Both sides also signed the pause. Both signal the pause will be temporary before fighting resumes. Right. Of course, it's going to be temporary. This is it's something that's been raging on for generation after generation now, and it's something that's going to continue to rage on until whoever whoever is the better of the two wins. Right. Yeah, is what it is. It's rough. It's reality though. Yeah, the ultimate truth though is America needs to stay out of it. Right, America. Other than things like mediation and stuff like that. I'm fine with us. I guess mediating it as long as it does not involve anything with us. Other than being the I guess a sane voice in the room or something. But I doubt that that's the case in America's case. That's never what we are. We're a fucking global hegemon, right? We want to make sure that we get our little piece in everything, right? Or if not, we will make sure that the fighting continues, because then we still get whatever, because yeah, that's what the private donors from Lockheed Martin and all these other places want. So the truce would begin at 7 a.m. local time and involve a comprehensive ceasefire in North and South Gaza, Qatar's foreign minister said. Additionally, additional aid would start flowing into Gaza, and the first hostages, including elderly women, would be freed at 4 p.m., with the total number rising to 50 over the 4 days. Ministry spokesperson Mahid Al Ansari said in the Qatari capital, Doha. Palestinians were expected to be released from Israeli jail. He told reporters, "We all hope that this truce will lead to a chance to start a wider work to achieve a permanent truce." U.S. President Joe Biden, vacationing in the Massachusetts island of Nantucket for the Thanksgiving holiday, said he was keeping his fingers crossed that a 3-year-old American girl would be among those first released. Right, keeping his fingers crossed, because of course, America, we do not negotiate with terrorists unless it's on behalf of other nations and stuff. In which case, then we negotiate with terrorists, right? But when it comes to getting our own citizens back, our own citizens that are being held hostage back, normally the fucking SEAL Team 6 would just go bust down some doors, fucking drop some people, and then boom, go ahead and rescue our American citizens, right? Unfortunately, Joe Biden has already doxed the members of SEAL Team 6, so that's probably not going to be happening anytime soon, right? I guess they did go out in a complete admission already, but anything further, not looking like it's going to be going down anytime soon. Right. Let's see. So, a U.S. State Department official called the truce a hopeful moment, but said work would continue to free all the hostages. Hamas, which had been expected to declare a truce with Israel a day earlier on Thursday, only for negotiations to drag on, confirmed on its Telegram channel that all hostilities from its forces would cease. But Abu Ubida, I don't give a fuck. Spokesperson for Hamas's armed wing later referred to this to quote this temporary truce in a video message that called for an escalation of the confrontation with Israel on all resistance fronts, including the West Bank, where violence has surged since the Gaza war erupted. Israelis, yeah, Israel's military said its troops would stay behind a ceasefire line inside Gaza without giving details of its position. Quote, there will be complicated days and nothing is certain. Even during this process, there could be changes, Israeli military spokesperson Daniel Hagari said. Quote, control over northern Gaza is the first step of a long war, and we are preparing for the next stages, he added. Israel had received an initial list of hostages to be freed and was in touch with families, the Prime Minister's office said. Israel launched its invasion of Gaza after terrorists from Hamas burst across the border fence on October 7th, killing 1,200 people and seizing about 2,400 hostages, according to Israeli tallies. Since then, some 13,000 Gazans have been killed by Israeli bombardment, according to Hamas-controlled health authorities. Right. So when it comes to these numbers, Israel has already went ahead and revised their number. Sorry about that. 1 second. Israel has already kind of gone and revised their death toll count from, I think it was like 1,500 down to this 1,200. And so when it comes to Gaza, I'm not necessarily going to be taking them at their word either, as to how many dead citizens they have. When it comes down to either side, both of them are fucking evil. Both of them are fucking corrupt. Both of them are fucking terrorists, in my opinion. Right? I personally don't care. Obviously, as you guys are well aware of, if you guys watch my show at all, I'm on the side of America first. I'm on the side of America only. Right? I'm, obviously I'm, free trade with all, political entanglements with none. So therefore, when it comes to things like, allies and all that type of stuff, yeah, I'm not for it. Right. I'm again, if anything, we should have a regional, allegiance, right? A hemispheric allegiance, right? With our newfound friends down in Argentina. We're actually seeing a lot more of a liberty movement on in South America as well. A better relations, I guess, than we normally have with Canada and Mexico, and basically we need like I say, a hemispheric alliance, basically, to keep our entire half of the world fucking safe from the other half of the world, right? We're the fucking pro-colonization side. We are the fucking side born of colonization, right? Just kidding. I'm bullshit about that whole thing, right? But either way, fucking essentially, we are the new world, and we could trade with other nations, but essentially, when it comes to America, we need all of our production, all of our wealth, all of our programs need to be extended to only American citizens, right? Obviously we're seeing that coming up on the rise here, but it's going to be a long haul, man. It's going to be a long haul, but luckily we do have some hope. We do have hope, and we are seeing a populist rise, nationalist populist movement rising up all over the world right now, right? So we just had I'm not too sure if I'm pronounced this, but Geert Wilders, he just won the Dutch elections, and then we also have Javier Milei, right? I fucking love Javier Milei. All right, let me go on a bit about Javier Milei, right? Javier Milei is a representation. Javier Milei is essentially the Argentinian Trump, right? Uh, I guess I would say our Javier Milei is a bit more libertarian than Trump. Trump is still a bit more authoritarian. Obviously, if you look back in some of my older videos, I do have my grievances against Trump. The whole bump stock ban thing. I was really much, I was very, very much against that. Basically, anything pertaining to gun control, I'm very much against. But I have my issues with Trump when it comes to Javier Milei. I like the dude's I like what he's got to say. I mean, obviously all I've really seen is his speeches and interviews, the stuff that he's put out, he's afuera, 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 but still, I can agree with that. And just the fact that he won so heavily over there in Argentina, and the fact that Geert Wilders won so heavily over there in the Dutch elections, it's just showing me that this sentiment that we're feeling here in America, this anti-establishment, this return to a tradition, where this return to our roots, this return to a national pride, this return to national identity. It's not just happening here. It's happening all over the world right now, right? And they know it. I've done multiple videos in the past about how the World Economic Forum, the Davos people, all those people, they are in a panic right now. They may not be showing it on the outside, but they are in a panic right now because they know that everyone is on to them, right? Everyone knows what they're up to right now, and everyone's pushing back firmly against it. There's like I said, there's national populist movements, all on the rise, throughout the world. And it's really just because of the like I said, um, consequences and rewards, right? The consequences are finally coming to fruition for a lot of these people, right? We saw during a lot of this economic crisis, a lot of these smaller places that had adopted these rather extreme climate agenda initiatives, such as the Dutch farmers. They had a whole fucking revolt against against globalism, when they're basically trying to limit fertilizer, and all that. They're basically trying to shut down the farming industry over there in the Dutch, in the Dutch lands, not the Deutschlands, the Dutch lands, right? But yeah, they're trying to shut all that down. And we also saw in Sri Lanka, they overthrew their entire fucking government because of these um, climate agenda, wacky initiatives that their government was imposing on them at the behest of these World Economic Forum, these Davos gangs, all these people that wish to put you in the pods and make you eat the bugs, right? We're seeing a full on movement against these people right now, and it's glorious. It's fucking absolutely glorious. This is the next stage of human evolution. And again, I have to stress, I cannot get this fucking box open. But anyway, I have to stress, do not allow yourselves to get complacent. Do not think that just because we are winning, that we have won, right? The enemy is mortally wounded right now. This is now our time to go in and charge. We need to go ahead and take advantage of everything. We need to take advantage of the sentiment going on right now. We need to go ahead and push this whole Joe Biden economy, this whole Bidenomics, the failures of Bidenomics. We need to make that out on the front and center of everything that we talk about right now. When it comes to discussing issues with the lefties, because what is most important, what is most apparent to everybody, and what people are going to be voting for in this 2024 election is the economy. Everybody is aware of the fact that their dollar ain't shit no more. Everybody is aware of the fact that there's no such thing as a dollar menu anymore, when there was just a couple fucking years ago when Trump was in office, right? And again, people's memories are short. They're not going to remember that they're not going to remember that it's a well, when Trump was in office, there was money machines going burr and this and that. They're simply going to remember the basic feel of the time. They're going to remember that when Trump was in office, I wasn't dirt fucking poor, right? My dollar was actually able to buy fucking something. I mean, I had a possible prospect of maybe owning a home one day, right? And all that stuff is gone, and people are going to remember just the fact that the last time that anything was good for them economically, socially, uh, freedom wise, last time that you were able to actually go to movies and all that type of shit before COVID and all that time was during the era of Trump, right? And then not to mention just the fact that uh, we're seeing what's going on right now. Everyone it's becoming so apparent that the government is just throwing shit at a wall and hoping something sticks when it comes to handling Trump, that they can't maintain it anymore. They can't maintain the facade that like, oh, Trump's an insurrectionist, Trump, he's a criminal, don't worry, we're gonna lock him up, because all of these cases are getting dropped left and right. Right, all of these attempts to keep Trump off the ballot, all of these attempts to gag Trump, they're all being swatted down as unconstitutional, because it is. because this is not it's nothing more than a political witch hunt, right? Nothing more than a political witch hunt, and people are becoming aware of that. And again, it's not just here in America; it's all over the world right now, and a lot of it does have to do with the fact that America is crumbling. Right, America is crumbling, and so of course we are going to be facing some rough times. But ultimately, we are still a strong nation. We are still a powerful nation. Right, we're not going to be a ultimately as fucked up as it sounds, we're not going to be struggling as bad as some of these other poorer countries because of the fact that, again, we are a strong nation. We are a powerful nation. We're going to take advantage of other people. That pretty much is what it is. Again, I don't condone it. I don't think that it's something that we should do. I don't think it's fucking right. But just in the way that things are, the same thing with Israel. If that continues to escalate, and again, 2024 is going to be intense. Something major is going to happen. The Democrats are going to do something major to try and maintain control. Whether that's starting World War III, whether that's assassinating Trump, whatever it is, 2024, something major is going to happen, right? And so, again, I don't agree with the stuff that America does. I don't agree with 99.9% of it, but still, I have to comment on what the reality is, right? What the reality is of what America would do rather than what I believe America should do, right? So, and the truth is that yes, America is going to fucking step on the heads of these other, smaller nations, and basically, the other people are going to feel it worse, right? When it comes to the whole thing like with Sri Lanka, right? So shit, when it comes to that, those people are going to fucking starve to death. We are going to have to pay a couple, cents more for bananas. Like that's it. That's all. That's all that we're gonna feel. That nation is fucking collapsed. They overthrew their government, and they're on a they've completely collapsed due to these climate agenda goals. And America, the worst that happens to us is we just fucking don't get some bananas for a little while, or we got to go to another source for our fucking bananas now. That's the same thing with just about everywhere else in the world too. America don't produce shit. And so when it comes to the fall of the American global economy, that's going to have to change, right? So again, just I don't know, just kind of rambling on a bit here, but we are seeing major change happen all throughout the world, right? So I don't know, man. I've been trying to I guess come up with some sort of philosophy as to what's going on in the world today, or what's going on at least with American politics. I've been trying to redefine the left and the right, because just to, like, again, this whole political compass thing, it's this two dimensions of politics. It's not reality. That's not real. Really, I mean, politics is a sphere. It's a political sphere. It's front, right, left, center, authoritarian, libertarian. It's tradition. It's I mean, like when it comes to defining left and right, how do you define left and right? Do you define it on an economic scale? Do you define it as communism versus capitalism? Because that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody that's on the right is full on capitalist. There's a lot of people on the right that are still for Social Security and all this other type of collective economics that we have going on here. There's still a lot of people on the right that are pro. There's a lot of the whole neocons. They're all about the money machine go burr, right? So does economics define left and right? Does a tradition define left and right? Right? What is it that necessarily defines the left and right? Is it multifaceted? Is it can you be partially over here as opposed to somebody that's over here? How does it all really play? Because it's much more complex than we actually have perceived it to be. When it comes to American politics, as we're seeing today, we're seeing again, not a split, not a divide, not a repolarization. We are seeing an absolute fracturing of political norms here in America. We're seeing the left get divided over the whole Israel and Hamas thing, right? We're seeing the left get divided basically over the whole victim. They're at a victim intersection, right? And we're seeing the right over here getting divided over the size of government type thing. We're seeing the right over here get basically divided over between MAGA and the old neocon establishment, right? Um, and yeah, where there again, you cannot define politics as left, right, authoritarian, libertarian. It's far beyond that. At least here in America, it's gotten to that point. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a new thing. New doesn't always mean bad, though, right? So I'd like to think of what actually drives the left and the right, and there's multiple different driving factors, right? So it could be again something like a tradition and progression, right? It could be something as different as economics, but I like to look at the underlying um, philosophical or psychological driving factors, right? So when it comes to I'll just we'll keep it a simple one because I only got about 10 minutes left because I've broken these down into multiple multiple different factions down to personality or essence or personality ego or um, morality and ethics. It's I've broken it down into multiple different sections, and so we'll go with morality and ethics, right? So generally, in the world of philosophy, morality and ethics have more or less, been used interchangeably, right? So in order to find, and again, this is a really just kind of in a Western philosophy, I suppose, because it's Eastern philosophy does have a different thing, but Western philosophy is more belief based rather than I'm not really too sure how you describe Eastern based Eastern philosophy. I guess it'd be more uh, I don't finding meaning in reality. I guess that'd be what I'd consider the uh, Eastern philosophy, as opposed to the Western philosophy, which is more of a finding reason within a higher power, right? So when it comes to left and right, the or when it comes to American or Western society, the ethnics and morality have been basically used kind of interchangeably. So in order to define what's actually driving or controlling the left and right either even more, we have to break these two apart, right? So when it comes to ethics is something that is generally going to be concrete, and it's generally going to be something that's done interactively, right? It's going to be a general code of ethics. So take like the Constitution. The Constitution would be the United States Code of Ethics, right? It's something that doesn't change. That's basically the way that's our our inner code. That's our inner code. That's essentially our essence. That's our ego. That is what makes America. America is our Western ethics, right? So on the other side, we have morality. Both of these also have to do with the difference of right and wrong, or good and bad and stuff, right? So when it comes to morality is less concrete. Morality changes with time. Morality is more or less relative, right? It's relative to the time and space of where exactly you're looking, right? So when it comes to morality and ethics, an imbalance of these two would basically create what we have on either the left or the right. Right. So again, the right would be more driven by ethics, right? More by truth, more by what is concrete social norms, basically what is concrete, what it is to be America, right? Whereas uh, so morality is more like your moral code, right? What you as a person believe, right? So let's see, take for example, it may be considered. It used to be considered immoral. Homosexuality used to be considered completely immoral. Outlawed all throughout society. It was going to completely destroy society and everything. And then as uh, as time grew on, the morality changed, right? And so as the morality changed, as the morality progressed, right, to kind of give you a hint as to what side morality would be focused on, as it ebbs and flows and uh, pendulums back and forth. It's again, it's relative. Ethics, on the other hand, is something concrete. It's something more based in tradition, right? So therefore, it'd be something more that would be driving the right. So again, America, we are more alike than we like to think on the left and the right. Again, we both would like to say that we are both moral and ethic, but the truth is that there is an imbalance of them on each side, right? The more centered you are, I guess, the more balanced you could possibly say that you are with morals and ethics. But um, basically, it's an imbalance of the same driving force, right? It's the same driving force that is overall ethics and morality. That is what drives our society, and those are basically born uh, through Christianity. That's basically where the idea of morality really kind of birthed from. Before the whole Christianity, it wasn't so much a thing. It was basically everything was ethics. Everything started as basically ethics, and then social morality kind of came into play with the advent of basically a equality, right? That type thing, which is again, it goes deeper. I mean, I'm running out of time here, but I'm working on a whole paper about it. But I'll get back to you guys on that one eventually. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one short. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We're only going to be going about an hour here tonight. Uh, yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by. I did get kind of lost in my last rant there. Again, I do have it written down. I was just trying to randomly, recall my notes and stuff like that. But I am going to eventually work on something, and I'll get it back in full form to you guys. But yeah, let's go ahead and light this one up and get on out of here, man. Again, make sure you guys catch us here Friday. I normally do have a co-host with me. If you guys are new to the show, I normally do have a co-host with me. It's Liberty Swine. His links will be linked into the description below, of course, as always. But yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys join us here every Friday night at 10 p.m. Arizona time, where we get stoned, talk about the news, and then go on some random ass fucking rants, much like we just did. All righty. I appreciate you guys. And if I could find my mice, there we go. I would tell you guys, fuck off.